Button's been hit me out.
Oh, the button's been hit? Well, then in that case.
Right now. All right. Thank you, Smeggy, for your musical inclinations. Welcome all to Hit or Miss. I am Night Strike, your host. And tonight we have a couple things to talk about. I have no idea what we're talking about, but we're talking about things. So, who is getting the background? Meet yourself. Hold on. How about now? Good. All right. Background is fixed.
Hooray!
All right. Anyways, who don't we have in here? We're missing Triple D. Where's Triple D? Did I not send Triple D an email? I should have.
You mean Sandhill Shooter?
No, I mean Triple D. Because I don't want to promote some shooter of Sandhills. You know, that could be a school or something. Who knows?
What if it's just a berm made out of sand?
No, he's talking about the picture in his backyard, which are the north central Nebraska sandhills where he shoots. That's all.
Yeah.
You can have shooter, and you should be able to have shooter in the name of something and not just associate it with school shootings. I mean,
murder.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, wasn't there a movie called Shooter with Mark Wahlberg in it that had nothing to do with school shootings? Maybe I'm wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, I mean, Danny Glover kind of ruined it a little bit, but other than that, yeah.
Well,
that's what he does.
He ruins things.
Yeah.
What? I don't want full screen. What the hell? Go away.
Oh, you know you want full screen now.
You want full screen, baby. Live and unadulterated.
No, I don't, because I
wait.
can't see the chat.
What chat did I just walk into here? What?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm waiting for people to be introduced.
All right. Hold your damn horses.
I don't
Get
have
around.
any horses.
All right.
He has snow horses.
Hold your damn air rifles.
Oh yeah, airsoft. Woo!
All right. And with our first panelist tonight, we have AWAC 1000. Say hello.
Hi, how you doing? I am pumped up right now. I don't know why, but I'm just really, really happy.
All right.
What a weirdo.
Yeah.
I know, right? I'm so weird. It's not even funny, but I'm so happy.
And then next we have Rick.
Hey, thanks for the invite.
Hello, Rick. All right. And then he comes on every once in a while. He's not on the Hit or Miss show very often. We've got Roll Call.
What's going on? Thank you for having me. I enjoy being on these shows.
Good. Now, speaking of Roll Call, me and him are trying to figure out, a time and day to do the whole ranting and raving with Roll Call and Strike.
Yes. We have to figure out that.
Yeah.
So we can complain and have our voices heard and annoy everyone.
Yep.
Oh, you guys are
Hashtag
feeling my
Really good
shtick.
at doing that.
shall not be infringed. So it's a work in progress. It'll probably be on Roll Call's channel. So, all right. Next up, we have someone fashionably late, the Mr. Triple D himself.
Well, howdy. Thanks for the link, finally. I just want the record to show that I don't shoot hills made of sand, although those sand hills do make a good backstop. But why does sandhill shooter have to mean anything about guns at all? I'm just curious, thinking that maybe sandhill shooter, I take a lot of pictures. I shoot those. Sometimes I shoot basketball. Sometimes I shoot pool. And sometimes I shoot darts.
Sometimes we shoot whiskey, too.
You can shoot tequila.
Oh, we all know about that.
So I'm just saying, even though I do like to shoot firearms and I do like using a hill made of sand as the backstop, that's not the only thing that you can shoot.
He shoots, he scores. Mic drop.
Okay. All right. Next up, we got Smeggy42. What's going on, Smeggy?
Hey, how's everyone doing tonight?
We're doing. And then we've got the modern anti-federalist. What's going on?
Hey, thanks for the invite. Thanks for having me. Not too much, just hanging out.
I had to bribe them to let me invite you, but you seemed cool over on the Smeggy Cave, so don't be weird. Otherwise, it's my reputation.
Yeah,
I am weird.
if you act like Flippy, you're getting the boot.
Fair enough. I'll try not to act weird. Other than I am weird, so I'm screwed.
Well, it's over for you then. All right, and last but not least, we've got Travis P11. What's going on, Travis?
Hey, man, not much. I appreciate the invite. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to tonight's discussion, tonight's chat.
Hopefully
It
we
always
have a
sounds
chat.
so
Yeah.
sad when he introduces Travis. Like, last but not
Last
least,
but not
we
least,
have
the overweight
Travis.
dad bod himself, Mr. Travis P.
The conqueror
One of,
of
How's
all
your
one of the
diet?
evil Travi.
Well, you're the leader of all the Travis, so
I know,
how
and
can I
it's
be
good.
happy about that?
Oh, just join us and you will
Just
be
be
happy.
happy you're not
Just be
dead yet.
happy.
My middle name is
Yeah,
Travis, so
yeah.
I can't join you.
You could
Travi
change your
resist-
name. You can identify as a Travi. Anybody can. All you have to do is say, I'm a Travi, and you're one of us. All right?
Travi resistance is futile.
Yes, yes. Anyway, that's a whole nother discussion at a different time. So, all right, Nice Strike. So, what's on the menu for this evening?
I don't know. Smeggy had something he wanted to talk about.
I do, yes. I found an article. It's a little interesting. It's not as bad as some of the other ones, but still, I was actually just getting ready to drop the links here. So there's the link on gun channels. There's the link on the YouTubes. And while we're at it, we will drop a link on the YouTubes for the Hit or Miss channel for gun channels, because you should be over there instead of on YouTube, because YouTube sucks. And
Drop it on the Facebook.
I don't do the Facebook.
Oh, you gotta have a Smeggy's Cave Facebook page.
You do.
I
All
don't
right.
do the Facebook.
It's all right. It's all right.
Even Hit or Miss
What about
has his own
Instagram?
Facebook page.
Instagram's good.
So, anyways, which it's weird that okay, so I found this because I saw like the title of the article somewhere else, and that's what stood out. But then when I click on the thing, the title of the article is different. So when I click on the thing, it says it's time to bring back the assault weapons ban. Gun violence experts say. And if I'm not mistaken, the title that I thought I clicked on was like, experts say the assault weapon ban works. And I was like, frickin' since when? That's news to me.
Didn't
'Cause-
Columbine happen during the assault weapons ban?
It certainly did. That's where I looked it up. It was in 99.
99.
Well, I didn't look it up.
I was still
Modern
in high
stuff.
school at that point, so yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Sure.
first one I remember. I mean, apparently there were like some more before or whatever. And here's the thing that's I always try and remind people when they talk about, mass killings. The worst mass killing we had was in like 1920s. It was in Bath, Michigan, and it was a janitor who set the place on fire and locked the door. So it was like a one-room schoolhouse.
Yeah, but they don't see that as a mass murder because again, they don't see that because they're not using the firearm because they're trying to ban firearms.
Well, I know. I'm just saying brings up the point that bad guys are bad. But anyway, so
I don't know
There's
why
a-
they're acting like this stuff is new. This stuff has been happening in our country for years and years and years because of sick people. And it happened in the 19th century. It happened even in the 18th century. Why is it such a big deal today? Because it happened to a bunch of kids that people loved in Florida. I'll be honest, that happened in Florida.
that's a really weird point. I don't know where you're getting with that. That
Oh,
sounds
let me-
horrible to say out loud.
It does sound horrible saying out loud, and I could give two shits about the kids other than tax kids in Florida. But that's the point. They're trying to scare up fear from people just so that they can impose laws that take away our rights. And I'm not down with that.
Right. Oh, I agree, and I agree that you can be against banning guns, like you can be pro-rights and still care about kids. You're feeding into that narrative that they basically say, if you don't agree with me, you don't care about kids, and your response is, well, fuck them, I don't care about kids.
I
That's
don't care
not
about
a good response.
I know it's not a good response, but I don't care about kids in the sense that I'm not a parent. I don't have to care about kids.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna jump into this article before you.
I don't want to see them die, of course, and I don't want to see anyone get hurt or die. But I'm not living in the fairy tale land where that shit doesn't happen. Because no matter what law you impose, there's no way you're going to stop things like that. But please go on.
Okay, yeah. So this is like the opening of the article, and I'll you know how I do it. I'll just jump over some of it. But so blah blah blah. The asshole from Wednesday did a bad thing. Purchased his military style assault weapon legally. So did a dude who did some bad shit in Vegas. So did a guy who did some other stuff in Orlando. So did a dude who shot worshipers in Texas. And then the paragraph ends. The sentence right after that should also say, so did the dude who stopped the guy in Texas. I don't know why they ever bring the church Texas thing up, because bad guy did bad stuff. Good guy did good stuff. They both had an AR. Like, it at least cancels it out where one good, one bad. I would say that there's a lot more good being done than bad, but it's like at least that one, that's a wash. So if the good guy wasn't allowed to have one, he probably wouldn't have stopped the bad guy, who probably still would have had one, even if it was, against the rules, because we see that kind of stuff all the time too.
Because criminals or people who do criminal intent, they always follow the law, right?
I think so. I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Right,
Just like when you put up signs, people don't mess with you.
They always follow the law, which tells them, oh, they can't bring that gun into a gun-free zone. So, they'll have to find someplace else to shoot up.
Or in the words of Dianne Feinstein, when the shooter sees that people are unarmed, he will naturally put down his weapon.
And walk off.
That's how it works. I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist, but the one thing that's really bugging me is after the Texas shooting, we didn't hear a peep about how horrible these rifles are, because one was used to thwart the shooting and it saved lives. But it wasn't very long before, pretty soon, here's another shooting where the good guy with the gun didn't stop the bad guy from killing 17 people who didn't need to die. So now all of a sudden, now we've got something we can run with. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but does anybody else find it odd that it didn't take very long to overshadow the good guy with a gun story?
No, that's always it's a narrative, and I mean it's not a conspiracy theory to say that the media overall is very anti-gun and has a leftist agenda. I mean it's that simple. MSNBC, CNN, they're known for it. It's just a fact.
Right. So yeah, that's the thing. It'd be conspiracy to say that they're doing it like they're doing it. The government's doing these on purpose, or they're actors, or all that stuff. That's bullshit. We need to speak out against that whenever it comes up, because for one, it kind of makes our side look bad, because then they go, look, Republicans think that these people are fake, and it's like, Jesus, dude, like I'm not a Republican, but either way, like I guarantee the couple of people that are false flagging it do not speak for the Republican Party either. Like that's.
Can you guys educate me on something? What is the end goal here for the now past the whole they want to take all the guns away, but end super end goal, what do they want? For real, what is the end goal here for the leftist agenda?
I don't know if they know. I mean, I'd be hesitant to say it's back in Nazi Germany and stuff, we took all the guns away from the Jews so we could kill them all. I don't think Feinstein wants to kill us all.
No,
it is about control and whatnot, but I think
that's the socialist goal, is make everybody so dependent on the government that they're literally slaves to the system.
Right.
The government tells them what to do.
There's a vast majority of people that
the government feeds them, and they are beholden to the government.
And you can't fight the government because you got nothing to fight them with.
Yes. Sadly.
Because when the government holds all the cards, us standing there with our placards saying, stop that, ain't gonna have to do a damn shit.
Rick, could you speak a little closer into your microphone?
I can try.
That's much better.
That's why I was having issues today, so I'm still in the process of trying to fix
Yeah, because
it.
everyone
Sorry.
has to turn down their speakers because Night Strike yelled so much.
Oh, okay.
Shut up, be infringed.
But
But
anyways, I think I'm back. I was starting to break up a little bit there.
But further on in that article, it shows the graph where when the ban was on, there was less mass shootings. How do you explain it?
Hmm.
I'm trying to be the devil advocate here. I'm not saying I agree with it. But if the ban's there and there's less mass shootings, there's got to be a point to their argument.
Well, are they manipulating the numbers to make it say what they want it to say?
I don't know.
That's what I was about to say. A lot of the time, the criteria for what isn't a mass
This article
shooting
has those numbers.
change.
Yeah, but how do we know the source of those numbers?
Or how long they stayed that number, because some of
numbers
the
change.
information is, it's relative.
I mean, what made me say that? I had this argument with because I'm up here, behind enemy lines in Rhode Island with one of my neighbors' friends. Was like in Connecticut, the assault weapon or the AR-15 is totally banned. I think it's been grandfathered in. If you have one, you can keep it, but you can't buy one. And their argument is, well, since the ban happened, since Sandy Hook, and they banned the AR-15, they haven't had another mass shooting with one.
But what other things have they done to make sure? I mean, they could have done other things to prevent it.
There goes the neighborhood.
Oh, we lost the Smeggy, but gained a Hatfield and a Gunpowder Beauty.
You are a lucky man.
I don't know, but let's continue the conversation. What do you guys think?
I don't know.
They've tightened up stuff here.
Well, no, Gunpowder Beauty, you bring an interesting perspective because one, you're a woman, and two, you're a mother. So, how do you feel about the whole Texas shooting? What do you think?
Which one are we talking about?
The Florida one.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Well, kind of fill me in on what exactly it is we're talking about. I was dealing with kids, so I've kind of been in and out of the conversation on the chat.
Travis, recap.
You mean the shooting that took place in Florida?
Yes.
Then why did you say Texas?
Yeah, I'm just confused.
I said Florida.
You kind of lost me, buddy.
Okay, so it's the Florida shooting.
Yeah.
Is this about like the school or how people are reacting to the shooting, or what exactly is?
I think he's trying to ask, because you're a female and you're not just a female, but you're a mother. What is your perspective on the shooting?
Yeah.
Just in general.
In general, I think, it's a tragic event that absolutely could have been avoided if the cops, the school, everyone had done their job. Unfortunately, there were, I guess, slip-ups that allowed this to take place. But the chaos that's from the aftermath, that's just people doing what they do and hanging on for any and every opportunity to bash gun owners and guns and not actually sit there and blame the person behind the gun. They're blaming the gun, which is an inanimate object that doesn't have a mind of its own.
Yeah, nobody is holding themselves accountable for what happened. Everybody's pointing the finger at something else or any other element they can do to either create more noise or create more static to draw attention away from themselves.
Absolutely.
All right. Hold up real quick. One of you guys, whoever's not talking the least, jump out so Smeggy can get back in. Now, whoever doesn't want to. All right, there we go. We lost Gary, but Smeggy, jump back in.
Well, thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary, for giving up that spot.
Thanks, Gary. Hey, you know, one thing that's bothered me about this whole shooting is how the sheriff is just grossly trying to not take any responsibility for his department's horrible mistakes they made in that whole situation. I mean, it's to say that that sheriff and his deputies should have not gone in and stopped that. The things they could have done it's amazing how he's just like, no, it's the NRA's fault. It's not the fault that we just sat outside.
Now, I was listening on the radio that one of the interviews with him, he said something that really, really boiled my blood, and it was like something along the lines of like if and buts were candy and nuts, then like something stupid, but it was just so blatantly irresponsible how like even for a professional like interview, like there's some things that you just don't say in an interview, and that just really made me angry.
Oh yeah, because I know what you're talking about too, and yeah, for one, he kind of messed up that quote because I've heard that before, like, you know, and I don't remember what it's supposed to be either. But yeah, he's like, yeah, if and buts were candy and nuts, then this wouldn't have happened. Or it's like that's not what it's supposed to be. But he basically was like, well, you know, shit happens. Whoops. Like
it wasn't even a whoops. It was more like shit happens and I don't care.
Well, my problem with the sheriff is that he sat there. I'm a little late to the game because I just watched the CNN town hall crap that they had, and
2 minutes of
he was trying. Yeah, and he was trying to say that it's not his responsibility to look after his deputies and stuff. And it's just, he's putting the blame on everything else, but will not accept the fact that that is his responsibility. You are the sheriff. You are responsible for the people that work for you and work for your town or city or whatever. And then, you know, he's sitting there. I don't like the NRA. I don't like the talking heads. I sit there and think that a lot of the issues are with the NRA, but that whole thing, they were sitting there pretty much attacking Dana, however in the heck you say her last
Dana
name,
Lash.
and would not let her speak, calling her a murderer and everything else, and then trying to say that, you know, she's the one that's out selling guns or whatever it is. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, these kids are rude. I understand that they just had a very tragic event, traumatizing experience, but that does not give you any kind of leeway of acting like a disrespectful, entitled little brat. And that whole debate was a bunch of brats. That sheriff, he needs to be fired and never given a job in any kind of law enforcement or where he's responsible for anybody else. Give him a job at a school where he's mopping up the floors and cleaning toilets, because that's pretty much what he's qualified for. Well, he let his deputies mess up, and 18 kids lost their life because they did not do their job the first 30 times that cops were called out to this kid's house. And yeah, I could go on, but I'm trying not to get too ugly with it. But yeah.
Tell us how you really feel.
What's another sad?
I heard there were two deputies or law enforcement officers that were there for like 30 minutes while this whole thing was going on, and they stayed outside. And someone said, well, they may not have had the right training to go after an armed shooter. I'm like, wait, they don't have the right training? They're fucking law enforcement. They're allowed to carry a gun. What, they don't know how to go up and shoot somebody who's doing something wrong?
Or shoot back at somebody. You don't even have to shoot them. I'm pretty sure if they had just gone inside the school and aimed their gun, it would have stopped at least a couple of rounds from going off.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
these people were cowards and waited outside where they were not being fired upon. What the hell are you getting paid for? To sit there and sit on your ass and not do the job that you were given? And the whole excuse of they didn't have proper training or something, I call complete bullshit on that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there's also the fact that maybe they were. I don't know the full facts on if they were fully outfitted or whatnot. They only had handguns on them, and they weren't in their actual law enforcement vehicles, which should have. I hate to say this, and I know this is bad, but a law enforcement vehicle should have at least a shotgun or an AR in the trunk. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. It should have one of those two things. And if they didn't have their own AR or their own shotgun where they could go up against somebody who has like an AR, then you know what? I don't want them protecting anyone because obviously they don't have the tools necessary to do the protecting.
Okay.
And
I have a
you know
question.
another
How-
sad thing.
No, go ahead.
Another sad thing is, after all this happens, and it comes down to the fine points, it was basically a money grab. It was a money grab for the school system to get government funding. So they didn't report these obstructions of justice or, all these other little calls that they got. And then it was all because the school wanted the government funding. It was a cash grab.
Yeah, not arresting kids for minor offenses on campus and all that crap. Yep.
All of that. That's other than the kids losing their lives, I think that's the most saddest point of this all.
Yeah.
It was just a money grab.
Yeah, because if they had actually done their job, this kid that was able to go and buy that weapon would have been in the system if they had properly done their job, and he would have probably not been able to go buy the weapon that he used.
He would have been plucked out of that community so fast, and none of this would ever come about, and we wouldn't be talking about what we're talking about today.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I know we're getting a little
about this too. You have to think about it. With the offenses, as many offenses as this kid had, one, he should have been at the least on probation, which would have kept him away from buying any kind of guns. And from the list of charges against him, he would have been on probation for several years when he bought the gun. I mean, this is a clusterfuck from day one. Period.
Absolutely.
Well, and there's a lot of truth to what everybody's accusing him of, too. The school administrators know that this is true. Law enforcement knows that this is true. And so that's why there's such a big debacle of pointing the finger at everybody else, because don't point that finger at me or I'm going to have to own up to the fact that I let this slip through the cracks.
And he had been talked to by the police like 40 plus times. You would think, I don't know, maybe after the 39th time that he probably shouldn't be allowed to own firearms.
Right.
Well, I'm curious because I've heard different people that are, anti-gun say that, if you buy a lot of guns, this was used after Las Vegas. If you buy a lot of guns in a short amount of time, then you should be on a list and the police should come talk to you. Now that opens up a whole different rabbit hole that I don't want to go down tonight.
Yeah, because we don't want to have a list. But the law enforcement could have just they didn't have to arrest them. They could have just taken him aside, got him a cup of coffee, and asked, "What's wrong with him? Why is he saying stuff like that?"
What I'm saying is the reason people want, if you buy a lot of guns, the reason that these people want the police to come visit you is because they want the police to come see if you're some sort of a nutcase or a threat. Okay, so the police visited this kid. That it was clear to anybody with half a brain in their head that he was a nutcase and a threat, and still nothing happened. So even the people that are saying we need the police to go talk to these people, what the hell good does it do when the police go talk to these people? Clearly no good whatsoever.
And then the police will try and say, they'll try and say later on that they did not have probable cause to go and arrest this guy, even though he's saying all that stuff, and they can arrest, technically because of the Patriot Act, they can arrest him on terroristic threatening.
Yeah, he literally said online that he wants to be he said he wanted to be a professional school shooter.
Well,
Well, not only that, he sat there and had plenty of violent cases in the years before, and they didn't do anything about it except put a restraining order on him so he couldn't go into the school. Well, I would really like to have the sheriff sit there and explain to me how that restraining order and that piece of paper saved everybody, because he's got 14 injured and 18 dead. So what did that restraining order actually accomplish?
So, anyways, Smeggy, are we done with this topic, or do we want to go further with you?
I didn't get into my topic at all.
Okay, well then let's go.
Okay.
I'm sorry, we're just on a.
That's fine. It was just bad timing that my computer started lagging out right when I was trying to respond to all you guys.
And then I sent a couple more invites out. We got more people in. So.
Yeah, but anyway, so that's cool. All right, so yeah, the first thing, blah blah blah. They get all the stuff, whatever. Yeah, so this whoever this person is talking about is that, many gun violent experts believe it's time to bring back the federal assault weapons ban, or at least something like it. And then some dummy from someplace, you would see a drastic reduction in what I call gun massacres with the return of the '94 federal assault weapons ban. So then he's pimps his book here, blah blah blah. But apparently he collected data for 50 years before 2016. And it was on gun massacres, which he defines as 6 or more people shot and killed. Which I'll give him credit for this, because a lot of times they say, like, if 2 people are even shot, like, it counts as a mass shooting or whatever. Like, so he went the other way, but I think he might have picked that number for a reason, because it made his data fit what he wanted to see. But either way, so he gets down in here. So from 84 to 94, there were 19 incidents and 155 deaths. Between 94 and 04, there were 12 incidents and 89 deaths. And from 04 to 14, which it did go up, they had 34 incidents and 302 deaths. So I know Rick was saying something about, like, well, what happened, during the ban or whatever. It technically went down. There were 7 less instances spread out over 10 years. So between the 10 before and then the 10 during. And even after, it jumped up to 34 in the 10 years following the expiration. But either way, like, it's not very statistically significant. I mean, if you were to chart this on a big ass graph with, like, all other, murders or something, it's going to be that little tiny blip at the bottom when all the other stuff is way up top here, And this is my turn now to sound callous, kind of like Night Strike sounded callous earlier tonight. Even at its worst case scenario, 302 people died over a 10-year period. So we're talking about getting rid of all semi-autos for 30 people a year. I hate to say it, but dude, my rights,
well,
you can't give away your rights for trying to save 30 people. As sad as it is when those 30 people a year die, I mean, and I completely agree. Like,
but just remember, it's not the same 30 people dying a year. It's different people.
Yeah,
well, I don't think they're zombies, so I understand that they're different people.
Well, no, I'm not saying you think, but, the Democrats out there, hell, they're afraid of inanimate objects and thinking that banning them all will fix America and make it all nice and, fantasy land. They think that the zombies come up,
Maybe. And then
and more to the point is, and you're not wrong, Smeggy, the small, tiny number of our citizens who die every year in a mass shooting. Again, I mean, I know that everybody hears me say this all the time, but compared to the number of people who die in an automobile accident or on the operating table because the doctor screwed up or, any kind of medical malpractice. I mean, planes kill more people than guns do. And yet still we're worried about we're fixated on these guns.
Planes kill more people than guns do?
Don't planes? I know cars do. Cars, medical malpractice do.
Do we have statistics?
Yeah, I called BS on the plane thing.
Okay, fine. Let's leave the
I hope
planes
not.
out.
I'm going to
Okay,
Tulsa.
wait.
You have more
Here's the
people
thing-
committing
here's the
suicide
thing
every
about
year than
planes.
you have
We need-
people.
we need to ban-
Okay, back that it's still statistically way more dangerous to get in a car or way more dangerous to go have surgery, but nobody's stopping that. Nobody will not go have surgery because they might die. Okay, you're going to get a few, but people will still get surgery even though it can kill them because it's a risk. They've weighed the risk, they've assessed the risk, and it's an acceptable risk. Same way with getting in a car.
You know what really kills some people? The bill after the surgery.
That ain't no kidding. But here's the thing is all of a sudden we're not willing to accept the risk that you go out in public, you might get shot, even though the chances of that are so much smaller than getting into a car accident and dying. So really, the people that are so worried about this, that's kind of like saying, you know, hey, I am so worried. I'm triple locking my door on my house, triple locking the front door, and I don't even have a wall on the back, and I'm so worried somebody's gonna come in through the front door. But yet, I'm so much more likely to get attacked from the back.
Now, can I put this out here about planes? Is recently I've seen a few posts about this, and I even asked one of my friends who was a former pilot for Delta, and I'm gonna put that out there, and then somebody's gonna come back, oh, they don't do this policy anymore. But basically, some airlines have this policy that when you're apparently gonna brace for a crash in an airplane, they say to tuck your head down and put your arms over your head, trying to force your neck down. And basically what that'll do, as soon as the impact hits, it'll just directly snap your neck.
Yeah.
And the reason why they do that is because they'd much rather you die than have to pay insurance bills for your injuries. It's kind of sad.
I thought Mythbusters did that one and found that to be false.
No, I thought theirs was just about the seats or something that they'll.
No, theirs was about the break. Well, theirs was
was?
basically it wasn't as morbid, but it was like, does bracing for impact actually help you or not?
Okay.
You know, but I don't think they found that it kills you easier. But anyways, I'd like to finish some of this other stuff here.
Yeah, go
This
for it.
article. So this guy goes on to say, you know, okay, so I skipped the part where he's basically like, if we banned assault weapons and magazines, like we'd have a drastic drop in incidents and, you know, fatality rates, which again, 19 to 12, you're calling that a drastic drop. It obviously and that's over 10 years. That's not like per year. That is how many happened in that 10-year group. So you went from, you know, 1.9 a year to 1.2 a year. That's not a drastic drop. Anyways, the way this article is written is very misleading. So that's opinion shared among many researchers who study gun violence for a living. Blah, blah, blah. In 2016, they asked 32 gun policy experts to rate the effectiveness of a variety of policy changes to prevent mass shootings. The roster included, I don't know, some dude from Harvard or whatever, as well as a more ideologically driven gun rights advocate like John Lott. So that makes it seem like John Lott is part of, you know, he is part of the 32 gun policy experts, but I have a feeling he's not part of the ones that share the opinion that these are highly effective. But they make it sound like, oh yeah, everyone agrees with this one dude. Look, we asked 32 people, even John Lott. Yeah, but you didn't say who. And then even when they go through it, the expert panel gave an average score of 6.8. This is, you know, for 1 not effective, 10 highly effective. And this is just their opinion on if it's effective or not, but a 6.8 to both assault weapons ban and a ban on high cap magazines. The highest rate among nearly 30 policies surveyed. So even with like all these, you know, gun policy experts, like a 6.8 effectiveness, like that's still, you know, that's 60% or whatever, you know, well, 70% ish. Like it doesn't seem like they even think it's all that effective. And there's just one more thing I want to get to, and then we can, then I'll be done with this. So he goes on, blah, 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 some other crap, whatever. Who cares about that? Gun right groups like Las Vegas, or gun right groups like NRA oppose such bans. they point out that most gun owners of such weapons are law-abiding citizens. Completely true. And then this sentence, I don't know if the NRA actually like said this, but if they did, I wish they would have said something different. I'll tell you what I wish they would have said, but I'll just quote this first. And that the millions of guns and magazines in circulation would make enforcement of any such ban a challenge. You hear that a lot, like, there's a bunch of them. What are we going to do? Guess we should do nothing. That's what the Democrats hear, and they're like, well, we got to try something. But what would have been a much better quote is if they said the millions of guns and magazines in circulation did not kill anyone that day. One crazy person used one of his guns to kill people, and millions of other people did not kill anyone that day.
Yeah, even if you look at the
Exactly.
odds, like that, it's like almost lottery odds. It's like 1 in 380 million, or however many guns are in the United States right now, or 1 out of however many trillions of magazines there are out there. Because
right, I don't remember the numbers. I'd have to crunch the numbers again. But in the past, I was arguing with an anti-gunner, and something about cars came up or whatever. And so I actually kind of looked it up for basically like deaths per car in this country. And it was, like whatever, 0.01% of cars someone ends up dying in or whatever. And then for the guns, it's like, again, forgive me, I'm making up the numbers right now, but it was similar to this magnitude where if you look at like deaths per gun, it's like 0.001% of guns are ever used to kill someone. And then I looked at it as like miles driven in a car versus bullets shot. And when you look at that, like for every 10,000 miles you drive, someone dies. I don't remember the number. But for every like 2 million bullets fired, one of them hits a person. Like, it was insane, the number of bullets fired that are never in a crime. Like, just if you look at the estimates of recreational shooters and competitors and, training classes and, just whatever, America pulls the trigger on a lot of bullets every single year. And very few of them are ever towards a human.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Actually, even in combat, it takes about 50,000 rounds to kill one person.
Well, that's because you guys waste so much on suppressing fire. Stop that.
But I mean, and I would be more interested to know what gun deaths would be if we ruled out suicide and if we removed gang violence from those situations.
Well, we have the numbers for getting rid of suicide because you can just look at, you can just look at homicide rates. But it's harder just to pull out just gun or gang violence because, how do you necessarily define that? But you are right that is a bigger problem. It's definitely when you start looking at those numbers compared to, a school killing, you're much more likely. If you're a drug dealer in a gang, you're much more likely to get killed than if you're a kid going to school in, Wyoming or whatever, like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but I mean, where your problem is, you're anti-gunner, right? Talking about your conversation earlier about people dying in cars, people dying in operations. The way the normal American anti-gunner looks at this, cars aren't built to kill. Operations aren't meant to kill you either, but a gun is built to kill. That's how they see it. So you get rid of the guns, solves the problem. That's the way they look at it.
Yeah, I don't know how to. That's just a fundamental difference in.
Well, see, this is the kind of questions I get here when because I'm surrounded by anti-gunners. So that's why I'm playing the devil advocate here. I'm trying to get answers from you guys how to get back to them.
Well, I think a lot of it you could also go back to kind of the mutually assured destruction or MAD policy for nuclear war. Why do we have the Cold War where we try to get all these nukes? Is so if we have nukes, if you're a nuclear powered country, no one screws with you. And it's kind of the same application with self-defense. Yes, a firearm is designed to kill. That is its role. But by having it, as long as you're not crazy and you only have that for self-defense, for yourself, for your family and loved ones, then by having that, there's mutually assured destruction if someone comes after you. And the reason schools are getting shot is because they're gun-free zones. They're kill zones.
Absolutely. Also, I've noticed one of the other big problems with the mental health side of it, the HIPAA laws are so tight, it's hard to get the information because of the HIPAA law. I mean, right now, I don't have to tell you. Can ask me. You can't, theoretically, by law, you can't ask me a goddamn thing about my health. If I volunteer it, that's a different thing.
Well, HIPAA laws using mental health as against gun ownership, it does frighten me a little bit because yes, there are people who are mentally sick and shouldn't be allowed. But I'm a veteran. I've been in combat, and that instantly means to people that I have PTSD, and then they'll go, "Oh, well, you're unstable." I mean, I know I'm a very specific niche in the gun community, but like people are like, "Oh, veterans can't have guns. They can't have guns. They're going to go shoot places up," and so it's a very slippery slope with mental health. And so it's a very difficult thing to fix, but I do think mental health definitely plays a massive issue. If you look at all these school shooters, they're all on antidepressants and SSRIs. So these are people who are already having problems and we need to help them.
Yeah. The problem with that can of worms though, is once you open that up, because I am very hesitant, or I almost like cringe a little bit when they just be like, yeah, bad guys and crazy people shouldn't have guns. That's a very broad statement that I think anyone, like almost everyone agrees with. Like, yeah, okay, great. The problem is where you define that, because there are tons of people who have some type of mental thing that doesn't mean they're violent and doesn't mean that they would harm themselves. It's like, once you start opening that can of worms, where do you draw the line? I think we draw the line pretty good as it is right now, whereas if you go to a court and get them adjudicated mentally ill, then they can't have a gun. Okay, you've provided some evidence to a court. The court said, okay, I agree with that evidence. This person can't have a gun.
Yeah,
if you don't have that, if you don't have some type of step, then people can just write you up for whatever they feel like, and boom, your rights are gone.
What was that thing that they were going to do?
You have clinical depression and get prescribed a pill like Prozac or whatever, and you could be perfectly normal for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it just balances you out. That's it. It doesn't mean you're going to be unstable. But if they say, well, there's a link to depression and gun crime, or there's a link to firearms, owners committing suicide if they're on this particular med or that med, then the next thing you know, they're going after anybody that's taken or taking anything, even if it's a minor dose, just to level themselves out, right?
Yeah.
Man.
Ooh. I got kicked out of the chat earlier, and I got back in. Yay!
Yay! I lied. I got one more thing from this article.
Okay,
if you guys will indulge me.
Keep going.
So they go on, blah 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 blah, and then they come to Feinstein. And this is what Feinstein said: "This bill won't stop every mass shooting, but it will begin removing the weapons of war from our streets." And since we have a veteran here, you guys all use semi-auto ARs, right? I mean, that's a weapon of war, right?
Not yet, but I will soon.
Semi-automatic sporting.
For the most part, we actually use our weapons in semi-automatic because it's actually very inaccurate to use burst or a full auto mode outside of using a weapon like a saw, where you get down and you put it on a bipod, or even the M27.
Either way,
But the
all
fact
I was saying is ARs aren't weapons of war. That's all I was saying.
No, they aren't.
Roll call. Give us your response, because you just built an AR, did you not? And you're also a veteran yourself.
Yep.
So what's your perspective?
I fired my gun quite a few times in combat situations, and it was always in semi.
Fine. Just completely destroy my case. Whatever. Anyways, yeah, I do want to finish this quote real quick, though.
Okay.
Okay. So, and she replies with, yes, it will be a long process to reduce the massive supply of these assault weapons in our country, but we got to start somewhere. So this whole thing is basically like, I don't care. Oh, that wasn't even. Where the hell's the other part? Damn it.
Well, he's looking for that, but
There is one thing I want to say about Feinstein. Apparently, the Democrats of California aren't backing her anymore, and in this next election, apparently they're backing De Leon, Mr. Ghost Gun himself.
Oh my God!
now wasn't I don't know much about the history of the Armalite rifle, but wasn't that originally designed for civilian use first and then adapted for military use?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
So technically, it couldn't be a weapon of war since it was originally marketed towards the civilian market.
Yeah. Okay. So I found it. It was above this quote, not lower. So, anyways, she was saying so that the goal of the ban is to prevent horrific mass shooting incidents, not to stop the run-of-the-mill gun violence that kills dozens of people each day. So she's straight up saying, like, I don't care about the dozens of people that, handguns and whatnot and gang violence and just regular crime kills every day. But I care about, the 30 people a year that die because of a mass shooting. Like, I don't care about dozens a day, but I care about 30 a year. Talk about freaking
right.
What do they say? What the hell is that saying? Something about like penny wise, pound dumb, or whatever. Like, she's skipping over like the big problem and going after like the one little specific thing. Like, oh, you spent $500 to save a penny. Good for you.
Do you mean in for a penny, in for a pound?
No, he means penny wise and pound foolish.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, Pennywise. I'm pro clowns.
Yeah, don't worry about
I'm
in Chicago. Since
I have to take a hardline stance here. I am anti-clown. Thank you very much.
I am very anti-clown.
What about
They're
Ronald
weirdos.
McDonald, though?
Ronald
that's-
McDonald can go away.
See, he's just a ploy. He's just
That's
a
a
ploy for
different
the
kind of
creepy
clown.
clown.
If he's given me a Big Mac and it is a very tasty and great Big Mac, then I don't mind.
Bring
But
back Mayor McCheese.
But bring back Mayor McCheese. I want to know what happened to him. And
My
that's all I
favorite
got.
is Grimace.
I'm kind of the other way. I don't mind the killer clown because I know he just wants to kill me. But Ronald McDonald always came across as kind of creepy. Like, he wants to put his fingers places where they ought not go in you. And so I think I'd rather have Pennywise, thanks.
What about those killer clowns from outer space? Those are the
Well,
ones I would
those are
have
just
for.
misunderstood aliens. They're like E.T. So I think that,
No, they cover you up in cotton candy and drink your blood. That's pretty bad, dude.
I have no
but
idea what
I
you
said
guys
they're
are
just
talking about.
You
misunderstood.
don't want to know.
I'm more worried about Bigfoot myself.
Well, we got the
Ronald
Jersey Devil here,
McDonald,
so
easy.
I'm kind of preoccupied.
You have to be able to shoot a clown in the nose to kill it. Bigfoot, you just shoot him anywhere.
Well, it's
Ronald
like
McDonald is just a ploy.
yeah.
He's a ploy for the creepy clowns. Because
I'll-
if the creepy clowns don't kill you, he will, and he'll give you diabetes with all his hamburgers.
Oh my!
Don't,
I
don't
thought
make
it
me
was
rant.
obesity.
I will rant right now.
Do it. You won't.
Hey, speaking
Yeah.
of rant, can I throw in a shameless plug real quick, Night Strike?
We're not done yet, but if you must.
Okay, well, later on I'll do it. Remind me. Go ahead. Carry on.
So, Travis, did you want to talk about something, or do you think?
Yeah,
it's just-
no, I will try to be quick about this. I got a shocking letter this afternoon from. Let me explain this real quick. I belong to the Nebraska State Educators Association. It's not a union. All right, I want to get that out right now. Nebraska teachers are not allowed to strike. Okay, it's a group that 28,000 teachers belong to, which is a pretty good chunk of teachers in Nebraska schools and paraprofessionals, et cetera. Well, I was kind of curious what the NSCA's opinion was about arming teachers in schools. And so let me go to screen share real quick here, and I want to show you this email that I got from them today.
All right,
And,
Brace us. Is it bad?
Oh, it's awful. It's absolutely terrible. They really lead you in thinking that they're going to be on your side. So as the last few weeks have been difficult as we mourn the lives lost in the most recent school shooting. However, the Florida tragedy has sparked activism around the country, including school walkouts and conversations about arming school staff. And they go on and on and on and say that we don't want unauthorized guns in school. Severe penalties should be enacted and strenuously enforced for criminal actions, which they are. The association believes that individuals who bring unauthorized guns and other deadly weapons should be excluded from school grounds. The association further believes that a weapon-free learning environment should include security systems within the school campus and security evacuation plans that are reviewed and practiced regularly. And I'm like, hey, man, this is great. And then I get to this last paragraph and I realize they just signed my death warrant. The association also believes that students and education employees should never be allowed to carry firearms in an educational environment unless explicitly used for school sanctioned activities. You know, they never asked my opinion if I want to be a soft target. They just assume that I don't want to have the ability to arm myself. So I'm very, very disappointed with the state association that I'm paying dues to every month.
Well, then I hate to say it. Are you required to pay dues to them?
No, and there's a big but involved with this. One of the main reasons why many of our teachers join too, one, it's part of negotiations. We represent everybody, whether they're members or not. Okay, they're allowed to come vote on contracts and so on, anybody who's a member or non. You know, they're part of negotiations. They are the official negotiating body for our district. And two, the legal protection that you get from the job. If a kid accuses me of something, I can make a phone call and I've got an attorney. So if I drop my membership in the NSCA, which is also part of the NEA and then also our local, I lose that legal protection. And there's just an incredible amount of liability for anybody that's a public educator in a high school. Even if you're the greatest person in the world, you sneeze wrong and somebody's going to say harassment, right? So
yeah, kids. I'll be honest. Kids nowadays are absolutely evil. They're like,
oh,
I've seen it
they
firsthand
will
when I was
lie
in
through
high
their
school.
teeth on the stand, and until you're about to be put in prison, then they'll say, "Oh, well, it was just a joke," or "Oh, we were just mad at him because he failed us on a test and we were upset about it, even though that person's life is done. And reputation is basically destroyed." But the point is 28,000 teachers, and that's a good chunk of Nebraska teachers. In our local, that's about, I mean, in our local, it's about 90% of the teachers in our district are members of the NSCA. They're pushing for an agenda and opinion that will do nothing to protect me. You know, they're not even really talking anything about beefing up security on grounds, like increasing it. I mean, I got no survey asking me how I felt about this. And so I'm not, and this is something that's about to be proposed at their spring. What do they have? The spring? Oh, it's up here a second.
Get together.
Yeah. I'm trying to get it together. But the delegate assembly, where they actually propose this, and then this basically gets pushed off, you know, to the governor stating this is how we feel. Thank God we've got a conservative governor. But I'm just saying that this is very disappointing. So now, not only do I live in a state that does not allow public high school teachers to carry in class, I've got the association that's supposed to ensure my success in the classroom, wanting to ensure that I won't be successful in the event of a school shooting. So, yeah, I just want to get that off my chest right now. That
Are you allowed to keep firearms in your vehicle while you're
locked in the vehicle in the parking lot? Yeah, but I'm not about to go abandon my classroom and go grab them and leave my kids, to fend for themselves.
Well, if you're out in the hallway by yourself because you lunch break, what do? Do you go to back to your classroom, or do you go to your car in a situation like that?
If it was between classes and there's nobody in my classroom, if it's my plan time, I might go and retrieve my weapon. It's hard telling what I'm going to do.
Right.
I mean, it would be stupid for me to stay in the building because I'm definitely going to be a target. You know, if I'm in my classroom, we're supposed to bring all the kids in that we possibly can, lock the door, and then go through the whole procedure of a lockdown.
But if you're on lunch, it's different.
Oh yeah,
Knowing you the way I do, Travis, if you're even in between classes, but there's any kids near you, you're going to take charge of those kids within your sight and get them somewhere safe. Knowing that's what I would expect you to do. Knowing what I know about you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's
you're still not going to have a chance to go out your car.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's 25 feet away from my classroom. We don't have a huge campus. We have a very large. I mean, I go out 20 feet. There's the door. My vehicle's parked right there. But I still doesn't mean the hallway's going to be clear. But the whole point behind this is I feel very much deceived, and I guarantee if this is how my state local feels, if my state representation feels about it, then the national's probably going to be sharing the same opinion. And I hope to God that my local is not, because I don't share that opinion. So anyway,
that's what I was going to try and ask about is you said they have a delegate vote or whatever. is that open to members of the thing to give comment? Like, could you go to that and be like, "Yo, I completely disagree with this"?
Yeah, I can go as a representative.
You should do that. So then at least then, you know, you'd be like, "Hey, you're supposed to be representing me, and I completely disagree with this." And maybe maybe they'll take it
some
apart, maybe
awareness.
they won't.
I know.
So at
on the
least
other
you
hand
kind
of
of
that-
have an option there. That's kind of
Well, I'm just saying, if anybody out there listening would happen to be a member of this organization, you know, we need to seriously rethink about, you know.
I just read Raphael's response out there, the gun channel side.
What's that?
Travis, this will make you feel a whole lot safer.
Go right ahead, man.
Raphael says, "Don't worry, Travis P. That gun-free zone sticker will protect you."
Yeah. I don't know. Is that's not 556? I'm just kind of curious. So
Yeah, we can't have school shootings in Nebraska because guns aren't allowed on school campuses.
but we've had what 3, 4 in the last 15 years.
Yeah, we can't though. Not they're illegal, so that could never possibly
that would
happen.
never happen. That would never happen. No, we don't. Doesn't happen here where we barely have electricity. No. Yeah, so I mean, I think it's just a little bit ridiculous that they have that opinion. And I'm
Wait. You guys have electricity now?
yeah. Did you guys get it last week? We took out
No.
the hitching post out front of my house. We got this new thing called the automobile coming to town. Yeah.
Oh,
Still waiting.
I thought it
Gotta
was a
sit here and-
carriage.
What about my tractor?
Oh, we have
Well, I
a plow
think-
and oxen that pull it through the fields. You know, little house on the
I don't
prairie, that
support
kind of
that.
thing. So,
I've got a tractor. I got rid of the oxen. I got the tractor.
yep, yeah, that newfangled thing those kids are using these days.
Yeah.
I left those behind when I left home.
All right. So I think that's it. We pretty much, solved the world's problems tonight,
As always.
as always.
we do.
Wait a minute. There's no more hunger in Africa?
No, there's no more hunger in Africa.
AIDS is gone. Cancer's cured.
yeah.
Damn, you guys were
Look at y'all being all productive.
Yeah, but I do want to finish with this. For those that don't know, I'm going to drop some links on the YouTube side and the gun channel side. I am doing a Indiegogo campaign so that I could try and get to Tulsa and have a whole ton of footage of the J.M. Davis Firearms Museum and the Wanamaker Gun Show for the channel. And if you want to help out and contribute to the Indiegogo campaign, please do so. Otherwise, I ain't going anywhere. So I'll put those links out there for people.
So pretty much you're telling everybody to go help support you so you can get in that blue dress, right?
That's exactly what I'm saying. If
I
people
thought it's
don't,
so he can stop putting the blue dress on.
well, there's a stipulation. I did have a stretch goal where if I was able to get enough money, I would do a blue dress video. Apparently now the stipulation is it's going to be at Tulsa and Never Enough Ammo is going to be holding the camera for me.
He says
Yep.
he doesn't like the blue dress,
Well,
but
wait,
we all
is
know that
Never
he
Enough
likes it.
Ammo gonna be wearing a dress too?
I tried to get him in there, but
He's gotta wear a red dress.
but he's telling me I have to wear the dress, so I'll wear the dress if I can get the stretch goal. But I don't
And the
expect
tactical
it.
boots. And the tactical
Oh.
boots.
I
Don't
already have
forget
the
the
tactical
boots.
boots. I
Don't
already
forget
got
the pantyhose nut strike.
it's what I'm talking about.
Nah, fishnets.
Yeah,
I
fish,
kinda
that's
wanna-
definitely
Going
fish
down
nets.
slick, but I would say, yeah, support him, and that'd be funny.
I kind of want to see you turn out in full on clinger.
Oh, dude, any
That's
Yeah,
pretty
the
much.
makeup.
freaking channel,
That's
man.
that's pretty much what they what's going to happen. You'll see a fat version of Cleaner.
Short, fat version of Klinger.
Shut up!
With the
Not that
beard.
short. I've got a stubble right now. I might be able to have it back by then.
Oh, don't forget, I'm bringing you the thigh carry holster when we go to Tulsa, so that way you
Oh,
don't
wow.
clash with the dress.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. It's because I care.
Oh,
Right.
now we better get to that stretch goal. Come on, people.
Oh my
Oh, wow.
god.
So,
Everyone donate. You don't have to eat food.
See,
And
this
if
is
you
giving me
raise
a headache just
$100
thinking about it.
If you raise $100 for me, I will take that $100, turn it into ones, and make it rain on him.
This is getting to be a video that we're not going to get on YouTube. It's going to get banned.
it's going downhill fast.
Three
But
strikes immediately.
there's the link out there. If anybody wants to donate, please go ahead and donate to the Get Jonas to Tulsa Fund. So there it is. All right, running through the room. Final thoughts. AWAG, plug.
Check out my channel for stupid ridiculousness. That is the $300 scope on the $30 airsoft rifle that I recently put up. It is the most ridiculously stupid thing that I've ever done. And also, thank you for the invite, Night Strike.
Okay. Gunpowder Beauty. Don't you do a chat now?
Thank you for the invite. Everybody go check out Tardot 357 on YouTube. Go check out Gunpowder Beauty on YouTube. And y'all will have to get, because we are about to start doing a shirt called Cover Your Tactical Nipple. It's going to be awesome. Check it out.
All right. And then it's Rick. Make your plugs.
All right. Thanks for the invite. It was hard to get a word in age-wise with you lot, but I tried. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m., Shooting with Disabilities. And on Saturday, Rick's Life as I See It at 3 p.m. The times are Eastern. Thanks.
All right. Roll call.
Hey, thanks for having me. I enjoy all these discussions. It's been a fantastic time. Go check me out. Roll call 219. And like always, guys, I will catch you on the next one.
All right. Triple T.
Thanks for the invite. I'll throw out my shameless plug. I did upload a new video tonight. Just some rantings and ramblings, stuff that's been eating at me for a while. And today everything kind of came to a head, so I put it all into words. And I don't know that it makes a whole lot of sense, but a few people that have seen it seem to like it, so go check that out. Give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you don't like it, but give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subbed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to that. Sandhills Shooter on YouTube.
All right. Smeggy, do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah. The Second Amendment shall not be infringed. Write all of your representatives and senators and governors and mayors and everybody, because you know the antis are doing it, so we might as well fight back, let them know that we're out here. And also, Daily Gun Show every night at midnight over on gunchannels.com. That's on YouTube also, but show up on gunchannels.com because they're way better than YouTube.
Now, is that midnight Eastern or is that midnight Central?
That is Eastern, because that's the
Thank
only
you.
time that counts.
Okay. Modern Anti-Federalist dude. New guy. Plug.
All right. Yeah, well, thanks for having me. You guys can check me out on YouTube, Modern Anti-Federalist. I am also now on Gun Channels, how I'm here. So you can check me out there. Once again, thank you so much for having me, guys.
All right. Ellis.
Ellis, indeed, Ellis. Okay, guys, I'm still doing the Patreon giveaway. I've got that going on. It's the Outlaw Hatfield over on
Contest.
Patreon.
Contest.
Contest, whatever, just to make Night Strike happy. So if you pledge $1, you get an entry. If you pledge up to $5, you get 5 entries. Night Strike, thank you for letting me be on the 3rd best show on Tuesday nights.
I don't know where you think it's third. It's the first.
Well, see, there's Ghost, then there's me, and then, well, you're third.
No.
Fourth. Caliber Corner's third.
I've
and
been
then.
doing my show before either of you guys.
Yes,
so, you know,
yes.
Yeah, hit or miss Tuesday nights 9 o'clock. That's a
Right.
thing.
It's not about the length. It's about the quality.
That's right.
Yes, exactly.
And we need better quality. I need better panels.
Well, yeah, quit inviting the enemies on, and
But
then
look,
we'll be better than them.
I'm
He comes in just to bring
I'm
our
here
cat down
tonight,
so we can
Nigel.
make fun of it.
No, that's enough from you, Travis.
I am here tonight, so your panel has gotten better.
Travis, you're up.
This is true. It is always fun when Outlaw shows up. Yeah, okay, so shameless plug, guys. Check out Caliber Corner Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. I got the next episode posted. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and sign up for the reminders about the episodes when we go live. And it's 8 a.m. Central Time, so we'll see you guys there.
All right, and for those that were listening, that are still listening, I apologize in advance for Ellis. So
Don't apologize for
apologize
family.
in
You're supposed to
advance if
accept
you already
family.
said it.
you know, anyways,
I can do
Yeah.
my own apologizing when it's necessary. It wasn't necessary.
shut up. Check out the Indiegogo. Check out Hit or Miss Tuesday nights 9 o'clock. Look forward to the Friday night strike at 8 Eastern, and look forward to Roll Call's new show coming up where it's Ranting and Raven with Roll Call and Strike.
Yeah.
So with that, we're done. I will see you guys on Friday, I assume. So everyone stay safe. Keep one in the chamber. Always keep it cocked and locked. And yeah, shout out the Infringed.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. Oh, he stole it from me. Bye, Felicia.
Who the fuck is Felicia?
And with that, on that note, thank you all for listening on the YouTube side, the Gun Channel side. This
I want to
was
meet this Felicia bitch.
Hit or Miss.